of dollars putting on the event. But in hindsight, if you could do it over again, I think you would have gone with a negative split. Let's move on to this Jakob Ingebrigtsen DQ. It's just happened. Weldon was showing the clip there. For some reason, he went away with it. But John, we decided to hold this podcast until after the European 1500-meter title. 1500-meter championship was run because it was Ingebrigtsen against Lewandowski, the world's bronze medalist in the 1500, running on Polish soil. And when I went to World Indoors, I forgot when that was in Sopot, like Lewandowski was a huge star. The arena was big. That was the men's 800 was like the biggest event when I was there. It was an amazing event. So what could he do here? It was an interesting race. Ingebrigtsen, they went out tactical for the first 200 or so. Then he just went to the front and was 157, 255, just ran away from everybody. It wasn't even that fast of a time. What was the official winning time? 3:37, I think. But nobody could stay with him. Lewandowski tried to stay with him. He got second. And then I don't know who was third. But then a few minutes later, the DQ comes out. Now, what happened? I will admit, when I was watching this race at the start, the two things that I went through my mind was, why is Jakob Ingebrigtsen shoving some guy for no reason at the very start? And at the very start, he literally just went like this and just shoved this guy, full extension of the arm, and just threw this guy out to one guy almost fell down. I thought they would bring the thing back. I thought they should just bring the Spanish guy, almost went down. I'm like, why don't they just bring it back? And I'm like, why did they do that? And then they go to the second turn, and I'm like, wait a minute. Did he just run on the infield? And sure enough, you'll see right here, he does run on the infield. And this is on the second turn of the race. He was totally boxed in. And then shortly after this, he did move up and went to the lead and controlled the thing from start to finish. So I don't know what to say about this. On so many levels, I'm sort of torn because I've always thought that our sport needs a different rule. Like if you step on a white line in a 2-mile race, it should not be an automatic DQ. They should have like a half a second penalty for some of this stuff. The Colleen Quigley's and the Elliot, not Elliot Kipchoge, the steeplechase guy. Help me out, John.
Ezekiel Kemboy.
Ezekiel Kemboy. Like if you step on there should be like a half a second penalty. That should be the thing. But at the same time, you can't just let somebody shove people early in the race. But he did not get DQ'd for the shoving. He got DQ'd for stepping on over the rail. What do you think, John?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've studied this thing like the Zapruder tape, and I still have yet to form an actual opinion on whether he should have been DQ'd or not, because there's a lot of context here. So the Polish guy, Rozmus, he's running in front and to the right of Ingebrigtsen. And then coming into the turn, he kind of slides in, and he doesn't have like a full step really to cut in, but he is ahead of Ingebrigtsen. He sort of slides in front of him. So what I see is Ingebrigtsen puts his hand up to kind of steady himself. But then while doing that, it also kind of looks now, if you look at this video, we've got the video here, it kind of looked like he was also trying to move by him. And then they sort of get into some shoving. He grabs the back of his jersey. And at that point, Rozmus sort of releases and there's contact and Ingebrigtsen goes to the infield. And now Ingebrigtsen's defenders will say, oh, he was pushed in by Rozmus. But that was also because he initiated the contact. So I really don't know what to make of it here.
To me, I think it's somewhat clear in this sense. Going into that turn, he was in fourth. He did not have room to pass the Polish guy in front of him. The Polish guy's in the middle of lane 1. Ingebrigtsen is not happy that he's in fourth. He's about to move up. He decides, you naturally come down when you're running. Now, this may not be legal, but everyone does it. You're in the middle of the lane. You're going to come down on the turn. So that technically may not be legal. Maybe he wants to defend himself. But I think you're right, John. Ingebrigtsen foolishly was trying to pass him and think, I'm just going to move up. He's not going to come down on me. If I put my arm out, generally guys will move out of the way. But this Polish guy's like, screw you. I'm not moving out of the way. And there went Ingebrigtsen into the infield. So in my mind, you could say there's somewhat both at fault. But Ingebrigtsen did not have room to pass. He should not be trying an inside pass at that fault. It was a mistake. And by the rules, I think it is a DQ. Does it make me happy? No, but again, big picture, let's go back big picture. The Ingebrigtsens, him and his brother Philip, are consistently running like idiots in this championship. Let's go back 2 years ago. His brother got DQ'd for the exact same thing, trying to pass somebody where he didn't have room on an inside turn, got DQ'd from the European Indoor 1500s. But if the Ingebrigtsens get DQ'd every 2 years, we're not going to have these big stars running the event. Remember, Gert went off. We'll link in the thread to the message board thread from 2 years ago. And again, last year at Worlds, in the 5,000, this same guy, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, made 3 or 4 steps on the infield, and by the rules, he should have been DQ'd for that. But they figured, oh, it's a prelim, we're not going to DQ him. So, big picture, these guys have got to stop running like idiots. That's one. 2, we should probably change the rule book to come up with maybe a half-second penalty or something.
Okay,
like that.
Is the whole Friday 15 going to be Rojo ranting about the Ingebrigtsens being idiots? Everyone's an idiot to Rojo. Like, this should not be a DQ. Indoor, especially indoors. Indoor track, there's gravity at play. You're on a bank. It's hard. If you get bumped, you're going to go on the infield. It's not like outdoors. It's harder. But like, oh, wait, Mo Farah at Worlds, he runs in. He gets bumped on the final lap at Worlds, and that's okay. But these guys aren't. The Europeans, they need to back off a bit. This is ridiculous. I guess if it's home, I mean, it is home cooking, right? Oh, Mo Farah in London, home cooking, no DQ. Lewandowski in Poland, DQ. So, okay.
You know, I bet nobody. I can guarantee you that no one in Poland was involved in this rule change. But you're saying it's like the referee and scorecasting the book, where the referees are influenced by the home crowd. So I agree with that. I mean, okay, well, you've changed my opinion in the sense of.
But this is just tactical racing. This is tactical indoor racing. This is what happens. Like, have a moat. We should have a moat in the middle of the water. If you can never step on the rail, step off the rail, we should have a moat in the middle, and you step in and you break your ankle or something, or alligators, or like stuff happens. A guy took 1 step on the inside. This was a championship race. Who cares? Or I don't know. This shouldn't be a DQ.
I think 20 seconds into a championship final where clearly it didn't have an impact on the final outcome, I think there needs to be some common sense in there to sort of prevent this from being a DQ. But it's tough when you start allowing judgment with these rules. Then you get, that can become a slippery slope.
Right, but I think it should have to have a material impact on the race, and this was not a material impact on the race. There needs to be some discretion, and this shouldn't be a DQ. But
I agree.
Let's keep this show going.
I agree with you, Weldon, in the sense of, one, these guys do need to stop running like idiots because they're going to get themselves. They consistently are getting themselves in these situations. And 2, okay, I agree. He should not be DQ'd for the first lap. But if you say that, then you can't just let people shove people out of the way in the first 300. Like, at some level, the rules have to be.
Robert, you can get DQ'd for shoving people. He wasn't DQ'd for shoving anyone. There was no shove. This was a little tactical racing. Steve Bartow will be rolling over in his grave right now.
It was a full arm extension at the start by him. And that was clear, although the Polish guy's arm comes out here as well. Anyways, disappointing to see him DQ'd. But our rules, they need a change is my takeaway. I may be a little bit tired because I didn't get back to after 12:30 last night from the long hour from the Virginia Beach race. Okay, guys, Pac-12 cross country is in the books, and